The World Cup rolls on after a loaded weekend of matches. Upsets continue. Big-time performances from the smallest countries in the history of the World Cup, and it is an even bigger day here at the Kickback Studios, live from New York City. I'm David Goss. We are coming to you with our live World Cup First Such 26 show every single day at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And on this day, I am joined by Michele Giannone, who you've come to know very well. And for the first time for this World Cup, we've got Jordan Angeli in the building. Jordan, this is a big year for you. It's the first time a World Cup has ever had yourself in it as a competitor, the Jordanian national team.
Honestly, reading the rundown, I am confused a few times.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are we talking a lot about me?
We are talking a lot about you. Congratulations on a fairly strong performance against Austria in the first game.
Yeah, I appreciate
it. Trying to bounce back better for the second one.
Yeah, we need more goals is really what's going on. I'm going to talk to myself about it and then hopefully implement that. But really excited to be here, especially with you two. And yeah, this has just been, it's crazy to feel like we're already so far into the tournament, but
and yet nothing has happened.
Yeah, it's been amazing to be able to witness it so far.
So we have a lot to talk about. We are going to go through all of the games we saw yesterday, how it affects the groups. Obviously, Cape Verde throwing some things up. Egypt gets a big result. So we'll talk all about that. We have some special segments for you in this show. We are going to talk a little bit about the U.S. men's national team and what the roster could look like for a game that doesn't really mean anything technically. We are going to have Matt Doyle, who will join us for a tactical segment. We've got a special guest in this show, our very own Volair Shabila, who has been now, I believe, at 4 World Cup games and is, of course, getting ready for the Iraq game against France later today. He's going to join us live. For this one, we're going to talk about some of the great French kits of all time, and then, of course, we're going to preview the games of the day. So a lot to dig into. We are so thankful to Football Manager and Soccer.com for helping sponsor much of the work that we are doing at this World Cup. But we always like to start with our big things. Mm-hmm. This is your first time here.
Wait.
What?
Wait. First
Calma,
of all,
calma.
We haven't done this in person, okay?
The last time... the show gets into a flow.
Wait. So disrespectful. Yeah. I wanted to congratulate you about everything Denver Summit related.
Gosh, thank
Literally
you.
not related to what we're doing.
Here.
So disrespectful.
Look at that.
I've already spent my time.
I know.
I've already spent my time celebrating.
This is the first time that I'm with Jordan. You know, the last time I was with you guys, both at the same time, roster revealed 2022. I was here in New York for the USMNT roster reveal, and we did something. I don't remember which show.
I remember.
On air, talking about the roster reveal and what we were expecting, like surprises.
So it was 2022 Men's World Cup.
Yeah. I was in my room in
remember.
New York City. A rat actually came into the room. I had to jump on the bed. It doesn't matter. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You signed my second favorite player of all time, Lindsey Horan. Lindsey Heaps. Mm-hmm. And so I'm rooting for you guys.
Thank you. I love it. We're going to have to get you some gear then.
So, one,
please, and thank you.
Shameless. Two, there's an isolation camera on this spot because I'm the host of the show. And within 4 minutes, Michele has usurped that and taken over the show for his own. Michele, can we talk about the World Cup?
Yes.
I'm the one who put the Denver scarf in here. I'm repping Denver at all times.
You do shows with Jordan all the time.
I do shows with Jordan all the time.
Appreciate it.
Jordan.
Yes.
About the World Cup.
Yeah.
We normally do our one big thing of the day, positive, negative, whatever it is. You've not been on, so you can do many things.
So I can go big at first.
You can go huge.
Since, I'm coming in kind of halfway through this group stage, I feel like my big thing has to be, I've just been surprised. I did not think I was going to a World Cup game when everything happened. I think everybody was a little jaded about the ticket situation. And the fact that I have been to 2 games, one has been honestly a dream come true. I've gotten to go to other World Cup games on the women's side, which have been an incredible experience. But the stadium's packed, the fans, the noise, it gives me chills just thinking about the noise in the stadium when Türkiye is trying to score a goal, when Argentina fans are rooting for the 3rd goal that Messi scores in a game. Just being in the same spot as people who have very different lives, very different points of view, and yet everything has seemed to go really smoothly. Like, everybody is cheering for one another, and I don't know, it feels really unifying. in a way. And I really have loved that. And yeah, it's been a dream come true. I've just enjoyed this so much more than I could have possibly imagined.
It's the beauty of a World Cup that it's the one thing everyone does and everyone connects with. And I think for a lot of people, it's been a really exciting moment to see the world come here.
Yes.
And to have these moments in our backyards, right? How many times have you been to Kansas City? How many times have you been to games in Kansas City?
Yeah.
Or the Bay Area where you saw Denver make their debut, but this was, I assume, a little different.
Yeah, so different. And like walking into the Paraguay-Turkey game, there's a Mexican fan with a sombrero on pouring tequila shots into people's mouths, like because he couldn't bring it into the stadium. Like those are the things that you don't get unless you're at a World Cup game. It's been scenes and just so cool that we get to live that out here. And I think it's going to be transformational for America and the sport here.
I absolutely love that. So I had one that I thought of yesterday, which is, for me, it's always been pretty safe when I watch most World Cup games of who I'm rooting for. I root for underdogs always. And for the most part at World Cups, anyone who's won a World Cup is never an underdog until you get to like a quarterfinal, a semifinal, and then it's like, oh, am I picking France or Germany? Oh, am I picking Spain? Portugal sort of sits in that space a little. I was excited for Spain in 2010. Like, they were clearly the best team in the world, and I wanted them to win. So I always root for underdogs. I always root for upsets. It's been a great World Cup, right? Cape Verde and what they've done. We'll talk about it. Curacao, all these countries. For the first time, though, the teams I root for normally are doing well in Canada and the U.S. Underdogs now mean you flip brackets and big-name teams fall into lower seats. So now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, of course I'm going to root for this team. And then you're like, oh, wait, if Uruguay falls to third, now they're a third-place team.
It's a conundrum.
If Switzerland falls to third, now they're a third-place team. If Belgium falls to third, now they're a third-place team. And on the one side, I think we should believe scoreboards, which is Uruguay aren't very good. Like, we'll talk about these games in a little bit. But Uruguay, Belgium, clearly they're not very good or they'd be winning these games.
Right.
But you'd love to, like, not have to play Freddie Valverde in a knockout game. Or Lukaku. Or Doku. Or any of these other players. Right. And yesterday was the first time where I was like, brackets. Like, this might actually matter in a different way besides, it's always kind of, I went to the 2018 World Cup and the U.S. wasn't even in it. So, like, totally didn't matter. And I was just rooting for upsets and against Russia and all these other teams. So this has been a new experience for me, and now I'm going to have to rejigger how I handle
I'm like,
this.
your brain is rewiring in real time.
Yeah. Yep. And you add on the fact that it's hard to understand the brackets while you're watching, and it's like, okay. But so I landed on, I'm obviously going to root for most of these underdogs anyway. And then who knows, maybe it'll be a semifinal of Cape Verde against the U.S.
My big thing is exactly or very similar to what you're talking about, but with a different perspective. Now I don't care. And I'm believing even more about a deep run from the U.S. Yeah. Like, I don't care that we play Uruguay or Belgium in round of 16. We are better than Belgium and Uruguay. At least what we've seen, right? What we've seen. And people will still argue that maybe Paraguay or Australia are not a real test. I don't agree with that. Right. I think Paraguay and Australia are really good teams, and it's the USMNT that has made them look the way they've looked, right? So when you see the bracket right now, it's difficult, like you said, it's constantly changing. But right now, the US will be facing Ecuador, which not a great matchup, but a matchup that the USMNT against this Ecuador should win. And then you're seeing at round of 16 could be Uruguay, could be Belgium. Right now, it will be Egypt or Czechia. I'm 100% confident that if it's Belgium, Uruguay, Egypt, whoever, the USMNT can win that game. And before the tournament, I said it multiple times, I don't think this team has a quarterfinal run, much less a semifinal run. Now, quarterfinals, I do believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do believe that they could
I
get there?
believe that we will.
I had to.
Don't like that.
You set me up for it. But I agree with you. It's giving me Australia 2023 vibes for the Australian national team, where that team on the women's side just was on a heater, and they played their best soccer that they've ever had because it was in their homeland. They filled stadiums, packed stadiums. I mean, the USMNT games are the hardest ticket to come about. And it should be that way for a home venue. But I agree with you. I did not have the faith that I have now just a couple weeks ago in this team. And it has been, I think when they played Germany, we got a little glimpse of, okay, this could be good. And now I think they could have a deep run. And I think a lot of people are feeling that way, which is so exciting.
We had someone come in here in the studios that we're in. It is, for secret, not a soccer place. We've had the games on and people have been around, but not as involved. And one of the guys came in and said, if you need some USA chants as we got ready to do this show, has not spoken to us about the World Cup besides that moment. So now people are on board in a way that it feels like was not the case earlier. We'll talk about the US a little bit more in a minute, but let's get into what we've got on tap for today. And of course, look back at yesterday. So yesterday was an interesting day of 4 games. It is this bizarre Group G, which we'll get to in a minute, and Group H, which we came into. Both of them were every team was tied across the board coming into the day. Every team was sitting on 1 point in both groups, so it really is everything to play for. And of course, with the third place teams getting through, everyone is still alive, even after what happened. But we start out with Spain against Saudi Arabia. I went and watched it with my dad for Father's Day, which was very exciting. We were able to get seated, luckily, right as it started, because Lamine Yamal did not wait very long in his World Cup debut. Remember, he was not at a World Cup before. He has helped go to a Euro final and been victorious in his young career, but World Cup is new for him. It's a 4-0 win for Spain. They now sit on top of the group. You talked a little bit yesterday about how rare it is for Spain to win a game at the World Cup. They've won less than the U.S. and Mexico since they won the World Cup in 2010. So Spain moves top of the group. Comfortable performance for them, and got to be a positive day for Spanish fans.
So much frustration in that first game for Spain, and a lot of it had to do with if you let a team get comfortable in these low blocks, it's really difficult to break down. And I think that has been overall one of the stories of this tournament is how good defenses are when teams are the first to score, or they don't allow the opponent to score early, and they can sit in and defend and park the bus. Like, there is so much unity in these groups that it's hard to break them down, and Spain saw that in their first game. So you could tell that there was that extra little emphasis. I don't think the Saudi Arabia team was as comfortable playing in this different formation. And so Spain right away, like the ball that was played into Lamine Yamal, every time that
we're on East Coast time, so you gotta wake up for it. And
I took a cross country flight yesterday, so I'm getting there. The ball that was played into Yamal, it was what we've been looking for, I think, for throughout the whole entire tournament. Just those dangerous balls behind the back line. You set the tone early, and then because of that, Spain can then continue rolling. They get numbers forward. A lot of similar attacks that they had in the last game. It's just a little extra class in the final third, and that's what we expect from them. This is what we thought going into the tournament we would see.
And I think Saudi Arabia struggled in their shape. They also there's a turnover on both of the first 2 goals where you can't open yourself up. You can't expose yourself. Cape Verde did not do that in the matchup against Spain, so the easier chance never came. And as you said, on taking the leads early, I think over half the goals of this World Cup have been scored by substitutes. Most of those have been on the winning team, where it's like you're throwing numbers forward, you bring on a super sub, they go the other way, and they get a goal. And Saudi Arabia, I think, showed a little bit out of their depth, but they are still alive. Yeah,
but I think with Spain, it's all about talent. We're talking about probably alongside France, the favorites for the tournament. They have so much talent, and having Lamine Yamal from the start it just changes everything.
He's so good.
And we spoke about the choices that the coach made on the first game, like playing Fabian Ruiz box to box, more type 8 midfielder instead of Dani Olmo, who's a true 10 who can orchestrate better, like he did yesterday, and alongside Yamal, I believe was the best on the field. But when you have, we're talking, I don't know, am I wrong in saying that Lamine Yamal is the best right winger in the world?
No. Yeah, you're not wrong. He's probably one of the 5 best players on the planet.
He can do every single thing at the best quality, so you don't know what to expect.
Right, but
he can take you outside, inside, in behind. He can hold the ball up.
And even if he's not on the ball, he attracts 2-3 players, and that opens up everything for Cucurella on the other side to be a true wing back. He doesn't play a wing back, but he basically and you have the staying right back, because you don't need you don't need width on the right side with Yamal playing there. And with Olmo, they found Oyarzabal. On the first game, Oyarzabal didn't touch one single ball in the box for 30 minutes.
Yeah, it's
Yesterday
wild
he
stat.
had 2 goals the first
Well, he
25
had the
minutes.
assist in
the assist
the
and 2
third
goals.
minute. Yeah, and then 2
so,
goals.
I mean, it's just about you already have a talent disparage between Spain and Saudi Arabia, and when you add Olmo, Lamine Yamal, it changes everything.
The
And
goals were good. The assist was the best.
yeah.
Yeah, it's the ball
The
across.
best.
So
yeah.
of the 3.
I mean, I just think this is the Spain that we all were waiting for. And I just love how Spain is the European Mexican. Lamine Yamal before the game calling out the press. Luis de la Fuente, the coach, calling out the press after the game.
He said you have to treat these like artists, like Salvador Dali.
I mean, he said,
and
like,
all of
within-
that.
Wow.
I mean, Spain is the best national team of the last, I don't know, at least in Europe.
25 years.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. So putting this team in this group in doubt, it's lunacy. But the press and the fans are like in Mexico. If you have a misstep, they're gonna be all over
If you win 4-1, why didn't you win 4-0?
Exactly, so-
Which they did win 4-0 on this one. Let me just say, because you guys talk about Lamine Yamal here. So it's his first ever World Cup goal. He's the 8th youngest player to score at a World Cup at 18 years and 343 days. He is 14 days younger than Messi was when he scored his first. So in 20 years, when everyone's like, this was the 20th day, blah, 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 we can re-show this clip and be like, we were all there. Not there, but
Is he
we
going
were.
to do the same thing where he scores on the same day?
That's
like
what I'm
Messi?
saying. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
he has
Yeah.
to. I think the staying power might be a little bit tough, but I think many people in the sports world presented this World Cup as a chance for Lamine Yamal to elevate to replace Messi and Ronaldo in the conversation for best players in the world. I think that's a fair statement to make. Pressure to put on him is one thing, but I do think it's fair that from us from the outside, like as new fans come into the game, especially in the U.S., and they're like, who should I know? What should I know? He is the emergent talent. He is the, for lack of a better
They already
comparison, the Victor Wembanyama of basketball, where he's the next one.
Yeah.
And I do think he's good enough to be all those things. And I think one of the issues for me over the last 8 years is I don't think Mbappe is that guy. Mbappe's great. And there are other players who have been really good over the last few years. The idea that the next Messi comes and is the next Messi is wrong to me. Like, that's special. There's a best player in the world at all times. There are not guys who are elevated into the 5-10 best players of all time. Lamine Yamal has that potential. The hope, though, is they don't burn him out.
Didn't this team just won the Euro?
Yeah.
2 years ago with Lamine Yamal, 2 years younger, being the best player?
Yeah.
So what are we talking about?
It's crazy. Although Gilberto Mora, younger when
We
he
got
won.
to talk about something.
Yeah,
you
we do
know?
have
No,
to
no,
talk
I mean,
about something.
I'm just saying, talking about we as like the press
As
and
a
fans
world,
in
yeah.
Spain, it's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah. I think it really is interesting because the pressure conversation in a lot of different ways, like we have to. If you're proving that you're that good, the pressure is automatically going to come. It's up to that player how you sustain the pressure determines your greatness.
Yeah. Okay, let's jump into the second game in Group H, 2-2 against Uruguay and Cape Verde. No one would have believed you if you said this. People maybe would have believed a draw at 2 goals each. No one would have believed it. You come into this game, and obviously Uruguay have to come back from the performance in the first game against Saudi Arabia. And for Cape Verde, they're coming off the history against Spain, smallest nation at a World Cup. They, of course, got their first point at the World Cup. So it's like, how do you one-up that? And that free kick to open up the scoring in the first half from Kevin Pena. Everyone in the world knows he's shooting. And it's one of those where it's like, if you hit this perfect, it's a goal. Otherwise, there's no chance from that distance, the way you're going to hit it. And he hits it perfectly on the ground with pace, with power, gets it to take the 1-0 lead. Then Uruguay throw a bunch forward. And then there's a second goal in this one for this Cape Verde team as well. It was vibes across the board from them vibes on both sides.
Both sides. I agree.
Cape Verde here and Uruguay, if we dig a little bit, we can see the vibes from Marcelo Bielsa and his crew.
I don't understand why Muslera is starting for Uruguay to start with.
I think that's a conversation we've had for 12 years.
Yeah, but he lost his spot
Yeah.
in Copa America. I think it was Sergio Rochet. I know no option is great, and Muslera has the experience.
Right.
But
Which is probably always going to trump.
And
in
I
this
know
situation.
Muslera very well because he was a Lazio goalkeeper for many years.
Italy, ding.
Oh.
Do we have that graphic just under Michele?
So I think all the pitchforks are coming for Bielsa this morning. I just don't understand the setup. and the way Uruguay has been playing, because it's such a different team of what we saw on qualifiers. And I understand qualifiers and tournament playing is different.
Yeah.
But in qualifiers, Uruguay was a heavy possession team. Sometimes they play direct, but they like to have the ball. Rotation, finding space. Uruguay, the first 2 games, especially yesterday, it was just a million crosses, no ideas, playing Federico Valverde as a 10, out of position. So I think Bielsa, it's obviously, I'm not even close to be someone to put Bielsa or criticize Bielsa, but some of his choices compared to what his team have done in the past under him have been baffling.
Yeah. The thing that is difficult, and I see what you're saying about qualifying and ball possession and rotations, but you also are playing this Cape Verde team who are going to sit back.
Yeah.
They have one option. They're going to sit back and they're going to counter. And they're going to try to win a set piece. And so what's unfortunate for this Uruguay team, and maybe that's where they fall short in this particular game, is when you can't possess, when you can't, I mean, they had the ball, but when somebody's so deep, rotations are not helpful.
Yeah, you're not moving pieces.
It's ball movement.
Right.
And I said earlier, I think one of the big stories of this World Cup is these types of teams who are sitting back and just saying, beat us. We've got 11 players back here in the last 20 yards of the field, not even, maybe 30 yards of the field, and you're going to have to find a way. And it's the lack of ingenuity. I think that's my frustration with a team like this who does have so many players who can be creative. It's just lackluster.
And then the lackluster side, because that's, to me, it feels slow, it feels methodical, and that's the feeling we were talking about yesterday, I think, with Bielsa in the press. Like, he feels sad. Like, there's not a good energy around this. Then, on the other side, the 2 goals. One goal, great free kick, but again, Muslera makes a mistake. The second goal is a pass back across the back line. It's gorgeously taken. Like, that's not an easy finish to take it down as it's skipping across the field and then hit it on the second touch.
That's the thigh across,
But what is that pass across your back line? And that's a thing where it feels like the entire pervasive feeling through the group is this, we're just kind of like bumbling around. We don't really know what we're doing. And that's something that you've never seen from a Bielsa team before. Bielsa teams implode because the energy and whatever is hard to deal with, but they implode in ways that are dramatic, not lackluster and sad. And you go back to the Chile teams, of course, that he coached from a national team point of view, and they were not better than teams, but they always made you go and earn the win. And for all of what Cape Verde did yesterday, it was slightly gifted by Uruguay. And that's something that has never been Uruguayan style, and it's never been Bielsa's teams. And that's, I think, the most worrying part.
And I think something that, in my opinion, differentiates this Cape Verde team from other teams that play the low block and just sit.
Yeah.
Cape Verde is a team that likes having the ball, likes having play through pressure. We saw it yesterday. They're not afraid.
Yeah.
And stoppage time. They had the ball more than Uruguay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
They were the team that almost got the 3rd goal. And the referee, my man, let that free kick at the end. What are we doing?
Yeah.
That was very
That
odd.
was weird.
It was also odd in a game in where sometimes it's the team that has it has been the one wasting time, so I'm not going to gift them more time. But they weren't wasting time.
They were looking
the
to
ones
win.
Pushing. It was
and
very weird.
Everybody wanted Cape Verde to win.
Yeah.
And I feel like the photos that they went to of Luis Suarez in the booth during the game was
perfect.
Exactly how everybody was feeling.
Sadness.
You could just see the energy drain out in the questions that are around this Uruguay team. But it has been Cape Verde. So excited for Steven Moreira.
Are they going to win the group?
I mean, they have Saudi Arabia last. I think they're.
I would cry. I would cry.
I think they have a 76% chance to move to the next round because at a minimum they'll get third place.
I need a jersey. If that happens.
I mean the scenario, as we have the group here, we can throw it up. The scenario is that Saudi Arabia, the assumption is, are the worst team in the group, and that's who Cape Verde has, where Spain and Uruguay have to go against each other. So Spain sitting in first place, they still have everything to play for to secure first place. So this is not a game where they take things off against Uruguay. If you're Cape Verde, if you get a victory over Saudi Arabia, if those two teams draw, there's a chance that you get first. If, of course, Uruguay wins, there's a chance you get first as well.
Which will be this last group game against Cape Verde against Saudi Arabia will be exactly what you're just talking about, Michele. We'll get to see, I think, a little bit more of Cape Verde,
right? The quality,
in their quality,
Right.
and not just they're still gonna fly across the box and block shots and do everything that they've done that have made us fall in love with them, but they're also going to show that bit of skill and class and build up, and I'm really excited. I think that's going to be one of the most fun last days of group play.
And I already know, talking with people since yesterday, they're freaking out in Mexico because the second place of this group plays Mexico in the round of 32. As of now, it's Cape Verde.
Yeah.
But there's a scenario where it's Spain.
Wow.
Going to Estadio Azteca for round of 32.
Whoa.
Can you imagine if
Can
it's
you
Spain and
imagine?
England back-to-back games at the Azteca?
Oh my
The
God.
Mexico,
Get ready to learn altitude.
Wow.
Europe.
So Mexicans are freaking out
wild.
with this group.
Can I give you this one, which is fun? Cape Verde is the first team to avoid defeat in each of its first 2 matches at the World Cup all time since Senegal in 2002 when they beat France in the opening game of their first ever World Cup. And they have committed the fewest fouls of the tournament so far. They are part of what has been a largely successful tournament so far for African nations. We'll talk about Egypt in just a moment, but let's get to Group G now. We've got Belgium versus Iran, which was the middle game yesterday out in SoFi Stadium. We talked a lot coming into this one about this group. Everyone's sitting on 1 point even across the board. Jeremy Doku, who's been, as we said yesterday, in the news for reasons that are not exactly his fault, was sick. So he did not play in this game. We were a little bit wrong, I believe, about the lineup. It was Salamakers who went out wide with Lukaku coming into the team. I think we assumed it would be De Ketelaere. Either way, we were pretty close with Lukaku coming.
Way to call yourselves out.
Yeah, Lukaku coming. This is how I sit there and watch these games sometimes. I'm like, oh, we got that
wrong.
Oh, we got that wrong. But otherwise, it was what you expected. Belgium had 23 shots, 7 shots on target, 1.91 XG, and 70% possession without scoring a goal. So they're most in a World Cup game without scoring a goal since 1994. And this is an Iranian team, I think, playing with a ton of belief. The game, of course, flips late on with the red card, which, as it happened, silly, but an obvious red card, right?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. There are people who are like, oh, I don't know, someone's covering. I honestly, if someone's covering, I don't care. If you were going to pull someone's jersey from behind after making a mistake, you have made the intent to get a red card and you deserve to be sent off. There's the moment, though, when it happens where I said to people I was with, like, this might be good for Belgium because it opens the game up a little. And I do actually think the quality of chances they created afterwards were better, but it did embolden Iran and it gave them opportunities to get back in the game. And I don't know that they would have held on for the full 90 if that's not the case.
It was a bummer because they had just made those substitutions that made them a little bit more defensive. And I think if that hadn't have happened, if you had a seeing eyeglass and you could have seen that the red card was happening.
It's coming in about 2 minutes. Just wait for it.
Keep those subs on the sideline. Same sentiment as I feel like with Uruguay with this Belgium team.
Underwhelming.
What'd you say?
Underwhelming.
And when you're trying to break down a low block, the moments that are most difficult is when you are nonchalant because the game itself slows down and you have to create speed.
Play it
in
to the right
game.
foot. Play it quickly.
Yeah, quickly.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, we'll pass it here. We'll pass it there. It's really nonchalant, and that's where they get stuck with that. It's a poor pass, like caught in between. He tries to pass it back to the goalie, takes a bad touch, and then it's one mistake after another. And that's usually where goals are scored or big moments happen. And it's the 2 mistakes there. But I feel like from this Belgium squad, I get it. You have Lukaku in the box, but their best chances came from when they hit it low and hard across the box.
Yeah.
Lukaku can score in a myriad of ways. Like, he is going to find the back of the net if you get him the service. But it was just these, like, sky balls into the box. And that is not going to beat really any team in this World Cup. Like, the quality once they got into the final third, because they were breaking this Iran team down, it was not the right. I think it's difficult because all of their star players, Tielemans, De Bruyne, Lukaku. Trossard. It felt like they had 2 options and they were constantly making the wrong one.
Right.
And I would say I thought the biggest chance of the game late, I think it was De Kuiper that it fell to, where the ball sort of gets cut across the box and he comes into it and hits it first time on the far post. And opposite of the Ivory Coast game, it's like take one touch because his one touch would have been inside.
Yeah.
So he opens up a better angle and the space was there for it. But he's so panicked he's not going to get a shot off.
Well, you're
that he
desperate.
takes it first time.
Yeah.
And it felt that way a lot, as you said, of there's desperate decisions made when there was path A or path B, and it led them to the wrong decision over and over and over again. Shout out to Alrize Benvervard, who has his man of the match in goal for this Iran team. This was the oldest starting lineup of any team at the World Cup so far.
Yeah. He looked like a movie character to me, didn't he?
They all do.
Wow.
The Iranian players are a bit of a vibe.
Have you seen a lot of those?
I have heard a lot of it in my household.
I bet you
the
have,
Iran
Megan. I'm
team.
with you, girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone I'm
I just
related
felt
to.
like he was like a movie character, and then he's constantly making these saves, and I was like, he deserved it.
Yeah, I mean, the double save, he comes back on, like, there's so many moments that are huge. And for this Iran team, I mean, they have battled through 2 tough games. They obviously have the travel that they have to deal with. They talked post-game about how welcome they felt in Tijuana and how all the Tijuanans and all the Mexicans are saying, like, we're one, Iranians are Mexicans now.
I live in Tijuana.
You lived there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved
For
it.
like
Where
3
are you
years,
from?
right?
2 years.
Where are you from?
Everywhere.
From the world.
Yeah.
I
I'm
could've bet
trying
he was
to.
going to say that.
I'm trying to.
No, he's a
figure it out.
standard Venezuelan-born Italian who lived in the U.S., Mexico, and now
Now it
Connecticut.
makes sense. Now I get it.
Is that enough?
No, I think you might have a couple
And there's
more.
a very obvious bucket you fit in. So I just wanted, I just put it in
Okay.
there. But yeah, this
Nice.
Iranian team now, everyone controls their own destiny in this group. Let's take a look at the second game. New Zealand against Egypt in Vancouver. The Egyptian fans were on point for this one. Egypt gets the 3-1 victory. It is their first World Cup win in their 9th World Cup game. And here is the thing. I've said this many times on our show. As I grew to love soccer internationally, Egypt won 3 straight AFCONs. They have the most African championships of any team. They are the 10th African team to win their first World Cup game. It is so wild that it has taken that long, and it has been this stain for them. First, it was getting there. Through those AFCON runs, they couldn't get to a World Cup.
Yeah.
2018, they finally get there. Mo Salah gets hurt in the Champions League final. It's not the tournament they thought it would be. Now they come in again. I think it's pretty evident. Mo Salah is not at the physical abilities that he has been in the past. And through that first game, it was tough. It was physical. They grinded against against Belgium. This first half, it felt like New Zealand's game. And then all of a sudden, Egypt wakes up.
See, everything changed. It was a tale of 2 halves. Egypt was slow, no ideas on the first half. It looked like once again the stars, Marmoush, Salah, were off. There's clearly, and you've talked about this yesterday, they don't look
play
for each
together.
other, and it's pretty weird. I don't think there's animosity there because
I
one
just
is
think
Manchester
it's
City
style.
and the other one is Liverpool. I don't think that. It's just exactly the style. But on the second half, we saw the potential, right? They came out, they were more aggressive, they committed more numbers into the attack, and they are clearly a much better team with much more talent than New Zealand. New Zealand it's unlike our, without being disrespectful, one of the team with less talents and worst team in the tournament, right? You put it there with Tunisia, with Saudi Arabia.
But to
and
their
when
credit,
Egypt,
they've come out and tried to play.
Yes.
And other teams haven't.
right.
Yeah.
But when in the second time, when it was talent, aggressiveness, New Zealand had no answers. And which they normally are, they're a very compacted, very good defensive team. They committed some defensive mistakes yesterday, and Egypt, especially on the second goal, Egypt didn't.
Gorgeous goal, though.
Yeah.
Oh my
Connection
gosh.
back.
But
That's
it came,
Mo Salah's goal?
from defensive mistakes.
For sure. But we haven't seen a lot of from build out to front connection
Correct.
goals in this tournament. Most have been transition moments, free kicks, and that one was 5 passes, and then the connection from Salah to slip it inside, go for the 1-2, and then hit it left-footed.
Well, we've also seen him so many times take a touch to just try to get that little half a foot beyond the defender to take the shot. So the fact that he did the combination play in that moment, I think just the defenders were not ready for that. What I like about this from Egypt is it's actually only the 3rd time this tournament, you guys, where a team has scored first and lost a game.
Interesting.
So it happened on the first day. Czechia lost to South Korea. Ivory Coast scored first. Germany came back and beat them. And then now New Zealand scored this first goal, and Egypt came back. And for this Egyptian team, yes, it's the first World Cup win, but also it feels like with Mo Salah, it does feel like there's pressure on this team to
100%.
get out of this group.
Yeah.
Especially with the way this group's set up for them coming in.
You don't always get the tests you need in the group stage of tournaments, but when you get them, I think of when Spain won, didn't they lose their first game of the World Cup? France didn't do well last
Argentina
time.
lost their
2022.
first game.
Argentina didn't do. So I feel like these types of tests early on in tournaments can fortify a group really, really strongly. And maybe this is what Egypt needed to just wake up, say, okay, we can come back. They should beat New Zealand, as you said, but who knows what will happen with that kind of confidence in a tournament like this.
Mostafa Zico had the opening goal, 29 years old, made his international debut 1 month ago.
Let's go.
And
I love those stats.
It's a great story. And this is sort of one of the stories with Egypt, which makes them unique. And as I was thinking about it, because we've talked about it with Mexico, I think there's a couple other countries, South Africa sort of goes in these categories where they have really strong domestic leagues. Turkey maybe one. They have really strong domestic leagues. And so there's really high quality players who stay their whole careers. And so they come into the national team late and they don't maybe go and challenge themselves in other leagues because the money's really good where they are. Egypt is one of those where you look at these teams for every generation and it's Pyramids FC and Al Ahly and Port Said players who are 28, 29, 30 who finally get into the national team. And so it's just different from what you expect from countries outside of the Power 5 or 10 where, at 21, they'll go to Europe, they'll try and grind their way through. And that sort of simplifies sometimes the selection of the players. And it also, I think, obfuscates for people how good these teams are. Because you don't know these players, like we've talked about to open with Julian Quinones and Fidalgo and all the, like, people don't watch League MX, so they don't know who these guys are. And then they come in, you're like, oh, the quality's really high. They just make $5 million a year, so they don't go play in the Belgian league because it's not worth their time. That's the case a lot. That's the case a lot with the Egyptian players because of the quality of the league and the strength of it. And I think that's one of the things that makes this team really interesting. They have moved a little with Salah's success of some guys getting pushed over a little bit younger. And obviously now they've got an 18-year-old at Barcelona that they're hoping to lean on. For Portland, for New Zealand, Portland Timbers' own Finn Sermon gets the goal in this one. They take a 1-0 lead. So this is the third lead they've taken at the World Cup. And they have 1 point to show for it. So it's a pretty tough overall group stage for all the positives they've had. And now they finished with Belgium head-to-head. In the final game, which if we take one last look at Group G, we see that Egypt now sits on top and Belgium and Iran are tied in second place.
Belgium's going to let them score first so that they
can come back.
That would be rude.
It's deep game planning. It would be deep.
Winner of this group will be the USMNT rival in the round of 16.
If they were to then win that game, but yes. Yeah.
Yes, well, have some faith.
I need you guys for this.
No. Sorry, I meant the winner of this group would have to win their round of 32 game, which based on what we've seen so far.
They will face a third place team like
so
Bosnia.
What did I have here?
And Goss is definitely rooting for the underdog in that game.
Czechia.
Maybe.
I have if you have Belgium winning group, I have Czechia coming in as the third place team that they would play, who are fairly well full, but would fit in these matchups.
Yeah, as of now, the live bracket is Egypt, Czechia.
My guess would be Belgium beats New Zealand. So my guess would be it's on Egypt to win the group, where if Egypt gets the right result, they win the group. And if that's the case, from what I've seen so far, I would take that matchup any day of the week. I don't believe that this is one of the strongest Egypt teams we've seen.
I agree.
And I think the group works out pretty well for them. But if they play the way they played in the second half against Iran for a full game, that starts to shift your opinion a little bit. Speaking of the U.S., let's dig into the U.S. men's national team for a moment. We have our North American segment presented by Soccer.com. Myself and Jordan are currently kitted out via Soccer.com. Jordan's got a dope Germany jersey on. I'm wearing a Senegal warm-up top, which I forgot in Miami, so I didn't wear it to the Senegal-France game. But I'm going to get to wear it tonight to the Senegal-Norway game. So me and all of my Senegal friends will be hanging out. You can carry the crest as you represent your team this summer as well. You'll find the widest selection of World Cup gear at Soccer.com. Get a free Goal Club membership with the purchase of any World Cup jersey using code KICKBACK. As a reminder, the Gold Club is the longest running and largest soccer loyalty program in the country, providing members with a lifetime of savings and rewards on their favorite soccer gear. So the North American teams are going to come back around for their third group stage games coming up. We also know, of course, that they've already qualified for the next round in the U.S. and Mexico case, and Canada pretty obviously are going to get through to the next round, but still some questions. But we want to talk a little about this U.S. game We'll have our full preview recorded tomorrow alongside Matt Doyle, which will come out on the SoccerWise feeds. But obviously, the Turkey game, Turkey are eliminated. The U.S. have already clinched first place. So it's a weird one. There are 11 days between the game in Seattle and what will be a round of 32 game for the U.S. against a third-place team coming out of probably Group A between Qatar and Bosnia. But now we're seeing Ecuador's name slip in there. And listen, it's bizarre as one team plays and now a team on the other side of the world's like, oh, our 6% chance just moved. I want to ask it this way, and we'll talk about the game more as we go forward in this week. One player that you 100% wouldn't want to see on the field because you want them either rested or protected, and one player that you think should get an opportunity in this game. So
my mind hasn't changed. You mentioned something that I'm stressing, that it's 11 days between the game against Australia and the round of 32. I will play the 4 guys on yellow. Not the whole game, but I believe, Jordan, I don't know how you feel, but having played the game and being an expert, I feel, I'm not the expert you are, 11 days is too much.
I agree.
And if I'm Pochettino, I'm trusting my players. Like Tyler Adams played on a yellow against Australia, very physical game, and he stayed off. You play them 45 minutes, 50 minutes, 60 minutes, and then you take them off. My player that, again, will be out will be Christian Pulisic. I think that calf injury is more serious than it has led to be known. Yeah. So I'm not risking Christian Pulisic. That's my opinion.
They told us it was more serious than we thought it might have been by not even rostering him in that game. Right. And I think if he's at least on the bench, you're thinking, okay, if the game is on the line, he can go in and give you 15 minutes.
Right.
Calves are tricky, especially if you're fast. I wouldn't know, but I have heard that they are tricky if you're fast. And he's so agile, and that's what he relies on in those moments is his creativity in tight spaces to explode and have that little zip. You don't play Christian Pulisic. I don't think that is worth it right now, especially with how the U.S. is doing. Players on yellows. Okay, yes, I agree. It's too long of a wait, but if I had to pick one, because are you asking for one?
Yes.
Okay, you put Balogun in because I think you need him to keep scoring goals.
So you 100% play him even on a yellow card?
I think you play him for the last 20 minutes.
Okay, bring him off the bench, not from the start.
Yeah, because you want him to be on the field. You want him to get into those situations where he is understanding what's happening, and he started 2 games, so now you give him a different spot off the bench, solve the problem that is being presented. And maybe that is the U.S. is winning and there's space to be had. I don't know there's so many different scenarios, but I think if you are a goal scorer, you need situations to score goals and keep it running. So that would be my don't have to play players.
All right. Well, that's perfect because we thank you to soccer.com for sponsoring this segment. But we have a Mr. Matt Doyle who is talking a little bit about Balogun. So now it's time for our First Touch Tactics Board presented by Football Manager 26. Today's segment is all about Flo Balogun. So let's take a look at that right now.
Mauricio Pochettino surprised everyone with his 11 versus Australia. No Christian Pulisic, and instead of a like-for-like swap, he goes with 2 strikers, pairing Flo Balogun with Ricardo Pepi in a 3-4-1-2. Here's the thinking. Australia are playing with a back 3. That means whenever Balogun drifts wide or drops deep, one of those outside center backs is forced to follow him off the back line. Every single time. That's the exploit. It opens the channel right behind him. So watch the build-up. The U.S. are patient here, working it side to side across the back, forcing Australia to defend the width. Now look at this moment. Tim Ream's on the ball with Anthony Robinson in space on the touchline. Look at Australia's right wing back, 20 yards off of him, panicking already because he can't close the gap in time. And that's the trigger. Balogun checks, drags the center back out with him, then spins straight into the vacated channel. Game over for that Australia back line. Against Paraguay, it was Pulisic making that run. Here it's Balogun, a different player, different starting spot, different way to open the channel. But the trigger is identical. And that's not a coincidence. That's a team whose patient buildup creates the exact same opening, no matter the formation or who's in the side.
Well, we appreciate the nerd talk from Mr. Matt Doyle. Just kidding. He's a legend. We've been having a ton of fun with these. It's been fun to watch the games then and be like, oh, yeah, Doyle was right. Like, that's what he said, especially on the Messi one.
We've said that a lot over the years.
We have said that a lot. Not all the time, but we have said that a lot. And it is going to be a huge factor, of course, for the U.S. going forward, as Balogun has been one of the best players on the team or one of the biggest performers. Football Manager 26 International Mode is available now. You can download it on Steam or your favorite console, PlayStation, Xbox, or Nintendo Switch. And the sale runs through July 9th. It is 50% off right now. So if you want to go and win the World Cup, you can go in there and pick up the game. So we have a nice little special piece to go to right now. We have On the Ground in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the birthplace of America 250 years ago. I just realized over the last 3 days, we're about to hear that a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
It feels like everything has shifted into 250th anniversary. But On the Ground for this is going to be something that has nothing to do with that. It is going to be the France-Iraq game happening at the link later today. And someone who, of course, has been following this team heavily is Iraqi native, Volair Shabila, one of our own here at First Touch. And we've got him on the phone right now. Volair, you've got the kit on. You ready to rock?
Oh my God, I'm so ready, guys. You don't even know. But by the way, saying like the United States 250th birthday has nothing to do with Iraq and France is not true.
Totally fair.
Come on.
That is totally fair. The French fought. The French built the Statue of Liberty. Iraq has been heavily involved in everything that has happened in American history. You are absolutely right about that one. Okay, so what's the vibes for today? It's a 5 p.m. game, so currently doing this around 10 a.m. So you've got a ton of time to build up. What's your schedule look like? What are the Iraq fans saying? What's it going to be like?
Yeah, we have people coming from all over the United States, all over Canada too. You know, the Iraqi diaspora is pretty huge. And it's just kind of been all these WhatsApp messages and all these Facebook messages and stuff like that popping up of where to meet. Last night, I didn't get here until like 10 or something like that. But just seeing the videos of the fans from last night looked amazing. Just chanting and we're very excited for a team that's about to be probably destroyed by France. We're still very excited. And, I think I texted you like when we first got here into the World Cup, and I was like, it's just so cool to see my flag there next to all these flags. Like, it has never happened in my lifetime. And I know it's a silly thing, but like, it's so exciting for me just to be like part of the conversation. And once the game starts, it's going to be something different because I'm a fan and I'm going to want my team to, win. But until then, I'm just happy to be here.
I love that. Volair, is this the kit you're going to be wearing at the game tonight?
So I wore
You
this
probably have a
last
few,
time.
huh?
Yeah, I got a white and a black as well. I might switch to the white one today. I don't know. Maybe just to switch it up because we lost in this one last time, so just give it a little bit something different.
Well, after that first game, what are the big takeaways for you and things that maybe you think need to go a little bit better here today to try to get a result against France?
Yeah, I think the first game we got a better performance than we expected, but a worse result than expected, which is a weird thing to say, and I don't know how to put that into words other than saying those words. And the thing with that is that we played well for 70% of the game, and maybe I'm being a homer, but like you guys saw the game and you saw just how well the Iraq team kind of kept up with a team that's way better than Iraq really when it comes to quality. So I think the goal today is I hope it's more of a Capo Verde performance and less of a Saudi Arabia performance if we're talking about yesterday. And I think the main thing for Iraq is to balance the stability between staying compact but not to just absorb pressure forever. That when they see that moment to strike forward, and we saw that against Norway really well, it's just that finishing touch wasn't there. So if they can just apply that finishing touch, maybe we can sneak in a goal or two there. And I'll lose my mind again. That's the plan.
Valar, first of all, I have two things. Well, three. One, congratulations on everything you do covering Nashville in Major League Soccer. You're one of my go-to guys all the time. Two, don't say it's silly watching the flag, watching anything. Enjoy every second, my guy.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I will tell you that 25 million Venezuelans will kill to be in the spot that you are right now. Or me as an Italian, I miss watching Italy in the World Cup and singing the national anthem, watching the flag, having that, waking up and having that opportunity to watch your national team play. But my soccer question is, now you guys are here, right? What do you think is the next step in Iraq's program to keep evolving?
Yeah, Michele, by the way, you came to Nashville like 2 years ago to do the Leagues Cup or something, and we didn't talk, but I just remember you having really nice shoes, and I was like, man, those are really nice shoes. That's the only thing I remember.
Were they
Your
Italian?
game is strong.
That's why Ben Wright is my favorite, because he talks to me. You don't talk to me. Okay.
Yeah, I need to like actually step up and say hello next time. But on the Iraq thing, I think the main thing for us is to continue this sort of local talent and the European talent. So we have half of our team is born outside of Iraq and is through dual nationalism. Some of them were born in Iraq and left early. Some of them, their parents left Iraq, obviously for very terrible reasons, like why I left Iraq. But what has happened is that these players have been born and brought into systems that are very professional, that are very, well respected around the world. So I think the main thing for us is to combine that with the local talent and maybe because we have the talent in Iraq, we have really talented players. Our issue is that we don't have the systems to develop them. And if we can get to that level to where this sort of outside influence is actually positively impacting the young talent coming out of Iraq, I think that would be a major key for us to continue building into the Asian Cup that's coming up, and then obviously, hopefully 2030. And what I will say also is that Graham Arnold has been an incredible coach, not only on the tactical front, not only on the pitch, but he really understands the Iraqi players and knows how to talk to both sides of players, because the player who's born in Sweden and speaks 3 different languages and has been raised there is different than the player born in Baghdad and so having a coach that knows both and can trigger both and get the best out of both is very, very key, important key for us.
Also, probably has a decent legal career going forward when he had said, like, oh, if Iran can't play, Iraq should just be in the World Cup. We shouldn't have to play this playoff against Bolivia. Speaking of, we obviously spent a lot of time at First Touch with you after that game in Monterrey with against Bolivia, your experience around the fans, seeing your team for the first time, out at the hotel till 4 a.m., dancing in the streets, singing. I'm curious, what was the environment like for the Iraq fans in Boston around that first game?
It was awesome. It was really good. I think I personally underestimated the amount of Norway fans. I just thought, there are so many Iraqis already in North America. So I was like, you know what, maybe I don't think there are that many Norwegian people in North America. Well,
Here come the
they
Vikings.
came to North America. But from Iraq perspective, it was really nice to see all these people coming through. And we've talked about it from First Touch. Iraq is a diverse country. We have different religions, different languages. And this national team represents that in many ways. And I think it's so important to see these different sects of people. In many ways, the diaspora community is even more diverse. And again, because these players, half of them are part of the diaspora community, it's actually another sort of inclusion thing, because a lot of people felt a connection to that. And I saw so many people. Some people did come from Iraq, by the way. It was very hard to do so, but they did. And just seeing a combination of all these people, chanting, dancing. I did see a bunch of people stay after the match and chant and still encourage the players. While I totally applaud that, I was in distraught and I just wanted to get away from everything, because I was like, I cannot live with this. And like I was telling you, I was so happy just to be there, seeing the flag, singing the national anthem. Like, I was so excited.
And then
but then when that
part.
game kicked off, man, it's like, it's nothing. I'm like, I don't care about the flag. Go score a goal. Like, I'm just losing my mind, screaming at the ref, which is a very different watching experience from like the press box where I usually am. I'm just quietly typing on my laptop, But this is a national team. It's a completely different thing.
Last one before we let you go. I know you've been at a couple other games as a journalist covering, I believe you covered Spain's first 2 games in Atlanta. So you've seen Cape Verde in person. You watched Saudi Arabia yesterday. What have your overall World Cup experience been? What's sort of halfway through your takeaway of your experience?
Yeah, so I'll actually have an article on 615soccer.com, sorry for the plug, coming out on sort of my experience a little bit in Atlanta specifically, because Atlanta has been beautiful, man. They have embraced the World Cup, and I went to I covered 3 games there: Czechia, South Africa, and the 2 Spain games, like you mentioned. And the World Cup vibes in Atlanta have been amazing, man. Just like walking around, striking random soccer conversations. For someone who's lived in the U.S. for 17 years, I have never had this experience in my life. Like you see all these jerseys coming through from like the Capo Verde, like fake ones with a shark in the middle of them, to like the retro Zidane jerseys, everything. You just see it all there. And everybody's talking soccer. And Atlanta's like a cultural hub, as we've mentioned. Like they have Migos, they have Coca-Cola, you know, like it's like, so seeing that clash as well is awesome. And they're like, I posted a video, like everybody doing the Cupid shuffle with like different jerseys and like
So
in
cool.
Atlanta. And I'm like, this is like the most Atlanta thing ever. And like, I just love it, man. It's been great. I know the tickets are expensive, but I highly recommend everybody to just go to at least one, or even go near it if you're close by, because even the Fan Fest would be worth it just from a experience perspective. So yeah, fully on World Cup vibe, and I'm just excited. I'm hoping to get back there for the knockout stages as well. And maybe cover. By the way, I love the Iraq flag, the Iraq scarf you have there. I just noticed it. So.
We just got it a couple days ago because we've been trying to add it. I have an Iraq T-shirt as well that I will, after they beat France, I'll wear it tomorrow to celebrate just for you. Volair, one of our own, myself, Matt Doyle, and Volair, the bald bearded guys on the show. So we just like to pass around and move it around. So excited for you to get to go see your team play once again. I know Monterrey was special. I know Boston was great. And I am hopeful that it'll be a special night in Philadelphia once again. Thank you for joining us. Go read 615 Soccer. If you don't, follow Volair on all socials. We're posting a lot of his stuff on our First Touch feeds as well. So if you see it, click through and make sure to give Volair a follow on Instagram, on Blue Sky, and on TikTok. And Volair, we'll do this again.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you to Volair for taking the time to come on here. As we said, the game's coming up later today, so we will get the France-Iraq game coming up in Philadelphia. But first, the first game of the day for today is Argentina versus Austria, 1 p.m. Eastern time in Arlington, Texas, Dallas, Jerry World, whatever you want to call it. And this is going to be a big matchup. It is the top of the table clash between these two teams. You then move, as you see the day's schedule, as we've gotten used to now. Group I sort of fills in the middle with back-to-back games, and then we finish the day with that Jordan-Algeria game in San Francisco. And Jordan, we are very excited for you and your opportunities against Algeria in this game. It is really funny when I text you that every time I write your name, the flag pops up. It wouldn't have been the first thing I associated with that name on the planet until that. But let me start us with Argentina versus Austria. Obviously, Messi gets the hat trick in the first game. The assumption is that the winner of this game, if there is a true winner, will lock up first place in the group because they will probably move to a head-to-head situation where they're first place, which puts a lot on the line for these two teams to play for. For Austria, not a ton of World Cup history success. For Argentina, I think they are probably the team most that would manage their energy because they've been here before. They know how to handle it. What do you expect from this game?
I want to see a better Argentina. It's tricky because this is the same team that won the World Cup without Di Maria. It's literally the same team. And Lautaro instead of Julian Alvarez, it's kind of like the only question mark. Yeah. What's the decision there? I will stick with Lautaro. I think Lautaro is a better number 9. Mm-hmm. And if I'm Scaloni, I will try to put Julian Alvarez on the wing. I thought Thiago Almada was terrible. I try to be softer in my criticism, but winning and Messi having had that hat trick, I think
covers up a lot.
It covers. And this Argentina is not a great team. We saw it on the qualifiers, and again, they've been here before. They are the world champs. Mm-hmm. It's basically the same team without Angel Di Maria, which is not a small thing, because Di Maria it's one of the most underrated players, in my opinion,
because
in the history of soccer. Angel Di Maria, underrated player in the history of soccer.
He is trophies follow him, and everyone forgets about him.
Because he was in this era with all these other players who got all the credit.
It was Real Madrid. Oh, of course they're going to win, but then he leaves Real Madrid. He
PSG,
goes,
and he's the best player at PSG.
But of course they're going to win, and it's like, right, but he's always there. Yeah. So maybe he's important. But.
So I just want to see. I'm more intrigued of seeing what Argentina are gonna get against a rival, very tricky rival. Austria, I've heard like they're like the Red Bull style of Europe, very high press, trying to take opportunities out of like offensive transitions. But you're playing Argentina,
I
right?
know, that's the thing.
So it's pretty tricky. I want to see more for Argentina. Obviously, all the lights are upon Messi, but this is not going to happen every game. So I want to see what Argentina has when Messi is not saving the day, if that makes sense.
Well, he's
always saving the day.
So I know. That's
I mean, it's an
interesting.
older Messi.
Yes.
You can't expect this every game.
Yeah, I feel like the big question for me for this Austria team is how do they handle the overload centrally when Messi drops back? Because that is when he is, I think, at his best. When he just says, I'm going to come out of the space that you think I am usually in. I come all the way back, and then it's overloaded in the midfield. There's numbers. How do you do you stay with just the three that are in there? Do you drop back with Messi? How does Austria handle that? I think is going to be a really important key in this game.
And it was the opening goal against Algeria was...
My brother was like, why is he all the way back there? I go, because he does this.
But then the center backs didn't know if they should step because you've got runners behind you, but it's Messi, but they forget, and it only takes half a beat.
Yeah, so those moments where it's a little bit of created chaos on Argentina's spot, they love that. If Austria can handle those moments and the communication between their center backs and their midfielders centrally, it has to be on point. And I think that this is the difficult part when you play Argentina. They're one of those teams where you can play it like a team can play a certain way all the time, and then they play this Argentina team and
they force you to play different.
They they try to play different because they can't be as expansive, or they can't be on the front foot as much because they're so worried about what's in behind.
So what's interesting about this game is I do think Austria is one of those teams who's probably better as the worst team because having to open up and create against Jordan was probably not their ideal setup because they want to play counterattack, counter press against the ball. But this is a huge gap. I wanted to ask you before we move on. So I've been to 10 or 11 men's World Cup games in general. Very lucky. The only one I've ever been to that felt like a home game for one team was Argentina in 2018. You went to Argentina, Algeria. It's been a little different at this World Cup because there are such massive populations of Brazilians and Ecuadorians and all that. But like, what did you make of that crowd?
Home game.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Just the chants that the Argentinians do, and the stadium was rocking. I mean, goosebumps throughout the game in different moments when they just would erupt. Like, and yes, of course, for the goals, but in certain plays in the game too, and they're just going off and they're chanting back and forth, and you're just surrounded. I was sitting next to an Algerian fan, and he was like, we are totally outnumbered here.
Yeah.
This is not easy. It was one of the coolest experiences on the soccer, like in a soccer game of my life.
So Jerry World's like 90-something thousand, and
that was 60, I think.
There were more Austrian fans in San Francisco than I knew existed in the world, let alone the U.S. I would assume
their whole country traveled.
Yeah, I would assume this one's going to be pretty loud and pretty intense, but it is obviously a huge opportunity for this Austrian national team. If they can steal a point here, they would potentially secure their spot in the next round. And we, of course, will have all of your review for this tomorrow. Let's move to our next game, which, of course, Volair just talked to us about. France playing Iraq in Philadelphia. That one's at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We got a chance to talk about Iraq, luckily, with Volair. France, we know we have talked about them a lot in this tournament. But we wanted to do something special here. We did it a little bit with the U.S. And Derek, if you get me set up here, we have our soccer.com kit segment, our all-time best France kits. Don't forget, you can go to soccer.com to get these beautiful kits and the widest selection of World Cup product, free shipping on orders over $49. Let's dig into this, though. And you guys both sent me some picks for this one. And I got to say, it wasn't hard.
No.
And
it was hard to choose.
And this is one of those things that's wild is it's red, white, and blue. They're simple colors.
Yeah.
So it's not just the colors that pop out. And from 1982 to now, they have been absolutely incredible. So I threw this one down. This one was the 1992 to 94. I think this was the qualifying kit. But one of the ones you wanted me to touch on was the 1994 World Cup kit, which they didn't end up qualifying for. And
which is a bummer because this would have been iconic.
This is gorgeous,
in a World Cup.
And if you are listening and not watching, it is sort of that like, what? I don't even know.
Argyle?
Yeah, down the
side?
right
Argyle,
side
yeah.
only.
Yeah.
I think the rooster makes things really easy.
And the collar. France
love
is
a
like
collar.
collar. They their best kits have a collar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is one of the best kits I've ever seen in my entire life, and I didn't realize it existed, and I might have to go out and find it. But then we have the 1998 World Cup they did qualify for.
Go.
And I believe Suze was wearing this for game one on the show. And it was a Zidane jersey, which is what I'm looking at on the website right now. Now it's just sitting on top of a car on this website, which is great. You think this is the best one?
That combo is the best one. That one and the away shirt, the white. So it's basically the same shirt, but what it's white,
With
what is blue
stripes.
here, it's white.
Yeah.
With the lines across.
It's and you see this kit, and it's immediately prime Zidane, and that's
It is.
Enough said.
enough said.
I do think it's, and Thuram as well. I think it's the thing that people most associate with them. For me, this was the pick.
Ooh.
The 1982 World Cup kit. It has a really big collar.
Big rooster.
It has a big rooster. You know I love
Big
a
rooster
large
guy.
one.
The retro Adidas.
It has the retro Adidas, and then it has thin but wide pinstripes.
Double, like a double different
Right, so you're getting
pinstripe.
red and white, so you kind of get it spaced out so it feels a little blockier, but it's also like clean and thin. And I found this photo as well of the French team coming out for a game, taking pictures in the warm-ups back then. And I think French guys in 1982 were kind of cool at the time. So you have like both combination of kit is cool as well as the people in it.
Well, I've always had this question: why nowadays we see all the pictures of 20 years old, 30 years ago, all the kits and everything is so much better?
Because people actually spend time to make things and didn't just have like AI robots.
Now
do
it's
it
just
for
like
them.
copy paste, copy paste, copy
Yeah,
paste.
exactly. Everything. You walk around this city, buildings are gorgeous,
Yeah.
and now they've slowly,
Yeah.
because it's gotten cheaper and easier.
Also, I think
I
we
saw-
figured out bigger roosters make better.
Yeah,
I
think that's a
stumbled
huge part of
upon one of the Nike commercials pre '98 World Cup with like Paolo Maldini wearing that Italian jersey,
Oh.
Ronaldo wearing the Brazilian
Yeah.
jersey, the Umbro one.
Yeah.
It's just like,
You also had these hilarious things where you had we have a couple in this tournament. I think Iraq's one of them, where it's like smaller companies that are in the countries that really build it. But Derek, if you pull this back up, I will say, in disagreeing with you, Soccer.com has this year's kits.
I love them
for France.
so much.
So this is the blue one. It's another collar, a one-button collar. It has this texture to it, which I don't know that I'd always be a fan, but it works perfectly.
they have the best combo,
They
in
look
my
really
opinion,
fast
this
in
World
it.
Cup.
And then this
Both are
this might be
beautiful.
the jersey of the World Cup. This is the Statue of Liberty honorary kit. So it's a mint green. The Statue of Liberty originally was, of course, nickel, copper. What's a penny? Penny. It was penny. Is that
Copper.
Copper. And then it oxidizes and becomes green, which is what happened to the Statue of Liberty. And that's what they did because, of course, the French created and gifted the Statue of Liberty to the U.S. It's the 250-year anniversary of the country and the World Cup happening here. So they have this mint green jersey, which I am a New York Liberty fan. So I have things that are already in this color.
yeah.
That is what their basis is. They call it seafoam green.
Yeah, soccer.com has been awesome, and thank you for the kits that you gave us. I also was I was in a pickle. I had both of these I was like, I'm going to get the mint one. And then I saw the one with the collar, and
Yeah.
I was like, France in a collar. And I was going back and forth. I couldn't choose one. That's how good
so
they
you
are.
Just
So I just didn't do either one.
I'm canceling decisions for today. Instead, you went with Germany and Colombia, and I think you nailed those as well.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
So make sure to go to soccer.com for your opportunity to get your kits. And we are doing our third kit giveaway coming up on social. So make sure to follow us on First Touch KSM and on SoccerWise. Huge shout out to Mark Dancer and Kate H who won our second kit giveaway. We did a first one as well. We've got more coming. So if you want an opportunity to get a free kit, you don't have to worry about paying. You just have to stress like Jordan on what to decide on. Then you can go and do that one. Let's close out with our final two games of the day. The one myself and Jordan will be at is Norway versus Senegal. Reports are thunderstorms to the level of flooding. And those are also reports in Philadelphia. So we might get our first day with delays. We will see how FIFA handles that of how many hours they can allow a delay for. If you end up moving a game, what it looks like. This is all unknown territory.
Also, I'm surprised we've gotten this far without any
I
of them.
think that's a huge part of it coming out of you covered the Club World Cup last year where there was lightning and rain and everything. I mean, it's just the nature of weather in the summer around the U.S. This one's at 8 p.m. Eastern time, Norway against Senegal. From an on-field point of view, it's a must-win for Senegal because of head-to-heads. If they lose this game, They have no shot at winning the group. They probably have no chance at well, no, not probably. I guess France result. They have no chance at second place probably. Like, this is the World Cup final for Senegal in game 2.
Yeah, and it's a game for Norway to, if they want to win the group.
Yeah.
Last game of that set group, it's against France. So getting to that game with 6 points put pressure. It's going to put pressure on France because it's most likely that France is going to beat Iraq and both get with 6 points. But I'm interested to see what Norway does, because you're facing obviously a physical team, a fast team, and something that I believe Norway struggle, and I'm using the word struggle loosely because they won 4-1, but they didn't seem very good, especially wide. Like, I don't think Sorloth had a good game playing on the right wing. Then Oscar Bob came in, and I think he did a better job. Bob is a much younger, much dynamic, much faster player. And if it's gonna rain, then the field is gonna be faster. So I think that's gonna help Senegal.
Which also
depends on how much rain there is.
It was a complaint from the France and Senegal players out of the first game. They felt the field in New York. No, they felt it was very dry.
Yeah.
Well, they felt it was very hard. I think Saliba's phrase was it felt like artificial turf.
It was a couple of pretty hot days.
And Vinicius said about the Brazil game there, it ran really slow. It made it hard because they were asked about rain coming up, and they were like, we'll take it.
So I think Norway has some decisions to make how to handle the physicality and the speed that Senegal is going to present, and we'll see. I mean, I think it's going to be a very tough game for Norway.
This should be one of the best games, I think,
Yeah.
that we see in group stage. I would say Norway has so many positives, but they are a little rigid in the way that they play. And this Senegal team can be fluid, and their ability to utilize their speed is something that can punish this Norway team. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping that there's no thunderstorms.
Me too. I think for me, the big question mark around this game is I think Norway, sort of to your point, while they were dangerous, Iraq kind of gifted them a couple of chances. Their actual ability to create chances themselves, I thought they struggled with at times in the first game. And Senegal really sat in against France for large stretches. They didn't press high.
Yeah.
They made France come and beat them. And then when you make mistakes, you're dangerous in transition. If that's the game states, I think Norway struggles at times. But because of the need for Senegal to win the game, they can't keep the game states there the whole game. And that's where I think the chess match comes in of when do you go, when do you stay, when do you push. For Senegal, obviously, you bring a substitute off the bench, they score a goal for you, the only goal in the last game. What the starting lineup looks like, I thought Senegal's transition moments were really, really good offensively in the last game. So I think it's opening 45. Can you sit in? Can you pick off a couple of passes and find chances? Nicky Jackson has to finish them.
Can you maybe do that for? This is one of my favorite tactics is when teams do that for like 30 minutes in the first half and then they go. And now it's kind of quarters, so you can really do that. So we'll see. It should be a really great game.
Yeah, very excited. I think it's one of the most even matchups with some of the most intense stakes of this World Cup, and I think it's going to be a pretty special atmosphere as well. As we heard Volair say, I've seen Norway jerseys everywhere. Obviously, Haaland's a big deal. I don't think a lot of random people are buying like bright red Norway jerseys.
No.
So I think the Norwegians have invaded the area, and I know there's a huge Senegalese community here that was out at the last game, and I'll be in my kit representing them.
Nice.
So if anyone's a Senegal fan who's around, Teranga Lions, we're all together. We can enjoy this one. And the final game of the day, 11 p.m. Eastern time, Algeria faces off against our own Jordan Angeli. Angeli, almost Algeria. It's almost your full game. Both teams sitting on 0 points coming out of the first game. Obviously, this Jordan team put together a really strong fight, scores their first World Cup goal against Austria, hangs at 1-1 for a while, and Algeria, they thought they took a 1-0 lead early in the game against Argentina. It got called back, and now they face off. These are two teams that have some familiarity with each other. They've played Arab Cups against each other, not always your A team, so a little bit different. But compared to some of the games we're here where it's Norway, Senegal haven't faced each other since 2006. And the jeopardy, once again, really, really high. Two teams sitting on 0 points. You have to start to stack wins. 3 points might be enough to get you through. As a third place team, here's an opportunity, and it's going to be a big one for these two squads.
Being at this game and watching the 20-year-old Algerian Ibrahim Maza, this kid is brave, so good on the ball. Like I feel like in this type of game where the stakes are high, you know the team a little bit better, he could really flourish and have one of those breakout games. I'm hopeful because he was electric for them and the only player that really looked like they were willing to do the unexpected to try to find a solution. So I think he's the player that I'm looking at to say, okay, if Algeria gets a result, I think it will go through him.
Yeah, I think Algeria, they're going to be the aggressors. They're going to try to dictate the tempo of the game. You saw the individual talent. And, again, I don't want to take anything away, but I think 2 of the 3 Messi's goals are on the keeper.
Yeah.
Are completely on the keeper.
Zidane was terrible.
Zidane was terrible. So if you can avoid those self-inflicted mistakes, wounds, I think Algeria has a really good chance. We've seen it in the past. Algeria has been, in past World Cups, a difficult team to play. And now, like you said, and you're highlighting there, they have now the individual talent that can create chances.
The other big thing to watch from this one was Riyad Mahrez came off the bench in the first game, and Houssam Aouar came off the bench. I thought Aouar was really, really good when he came on, had a couple pullbacks to him, chances. Mahrez obviously attracts attention and gravity in a way. I don't know if that was Pekovic sort of looking at things and saying, well, we're not going to win this. It seems like an odd way to start a World Cup, but you never know. And so that's what I'm watching for as these lineups will come out, as we will be sitting in the soaking rain, covered in lightning, and getting ready for the final game of the day. And guess what? We will be back tomorrow, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, live. If you miss it, it'll be up as a podcast immediately on the First Touch pages as well as on Soccerwise. So thank you to you two for being here. Excited to have Jordan in studio for the week. Matt Doyle will be joining us once again as we go along. Big shout out to Derek and Ben and Sandy, who was alongside us today for this one. Huge shout out to everyone helping out on the back end with social and with graphics. And we will talk to you all again very, very soon.